Hello, assalamu alaikum. I am your host Muhammad Idris. Today we have brought an interesting topic, that is how can we make study more interesting for students. So we will ask the views of our participants. So Muhammad, how can we make study interesting for students?
Basically, teachers can make the study interesting by adding some new things. And first, the topic, it needs to be interesting. For example, adding new things that makes the student interesting or participate in the class. And the teachers, they need to be focusing on the students and study as well. Like learning, like they know everything, but they need to make it more interesting, like all the students, they should participate, and this is what or how the learning can be done. So basically everything could be done interestingly by making the class funny, or there should be a little bit jokes, and there should be some interesting things, for example role play or other type of things. So this is how study could be interesting, and this is how student will learn interestingly.
Okay, Muhammad Yusuf, how can we make study interesting?
If we see, so it isn't the problem of the teacher, nor it is the problem of the student. It's mainly the problem of the management. As in all Pakistan, the management says that learn from books, teach from books, and give tests from books. The mainly phenomena is this. But if we see, if a person or if a student wants to build something, if a person or student want to do something unexpectedly or out of the box, or the teachers or the student means the and management doesn't allow them to do. Secondly, it's the problem of management. If we see, so Pakistan education system is like when the education system which was being built in 1919s, nor they aren't upgrading it. If we see, so many students like they give what we can say. If we see, so management, it's the problem of management, because many students or our education system, it's in when it was built in 19s, so it isn't being upgraded. Many teachers or management prefers to read from the book, teach from the book, and give the test from the book, or give the papers from the book. So they aren't thinking out of the box. And secondly, the students really blame that if a student is going to, or if a student is learning about his his goal is to be a businessman, or his goal is to be an accountant or to be a doctor, so why is he learning? If he is becoming a businessman, so why is he learning history, history, geography? It's good for general, but it isn't like if you are it burdenizes the student, and because of that the student lose interest in the studies. And if you see, many students prefer that they should teach, or they should be given on what their fields are, what they want to be in the future. So I think it's the great, like Finland, mainly in Finland or in Switzerland, they also teach this kind of studies, where they not only teach from the books, but they also give them practical knowledge, and also is their future goal. So they mainly focuses on their future goal. They are not generally working on the people, but they are working on their future, not on their studies, not on their tests that they will get a grade marks or etc. And secondly, as I have told, that they aren't working on the grades. But in Pakistan or in these Asian countries, the main problem is that students or families want from the student to get A score or like A plus, where they get a great score or great marks in their studies. They want that. But if we see, so we can say that the papers or the test, they don't judge a person, or they don't judge how he will become in the future. So in my opinion, if you want to make the studies interesting, so first of all, don't teach the students which they are interested in. If it is football, they should be teach, like if his career is in football, so you should teach him about football, and also academics, but it shouldn't be very much precise. It should be precise, and it should be also generally, you should teach them generally, not like you should teach them algebra and this kind of things which isn't related to their field. If you want to make the study very understandable and very interesting, so I think this is the most and funniest option if you want to.
Very good, Yusuf. Jebreel, same question goes for you.
For making studies interesting, like there can be various functions that people try to do, but I have some that I want to discuss with you. The top education system, the countries which have the top education system, they apply like they have everything that people do. They have fun, they do everything. That's why they are on the top. They are they are good in education system.
Thank you, Jebreel. Yusuf, how can teacher make study interesting?
For me, it can be, in my opinion, many people will say that it isn't good, or they will say it's good. But in my opinion, if you see, so first of all, teachers should involve the students in the studies. As I've seen, as a student, I've seen that many students which aren't good in studies, they aren't being recognized, and they aren't given that kind of focus that they should be needed. Instead, they focus and mainly in the government school and also in the private school. I wouldn't name them, but many students I've got the complaints that they aren't focusing on the students which aren't that much good in that subject. As our teacher do with us, that if there is one good person who is good in maths, or who is good in accounting or computer, so he's being set with the person who isn't that much kind of good. So because of that, they both can be like, if the person who isn't good in that study, so he can be understood by the student who is good in that. So we can get this kind of opportunity, or we can get this kind of activity. And secondly, there can also be, if the students like, if you see, so in private school, mainly in one class there is about 15 to 20 students. On one day, if there is if the student or if the school gives a permission where they could there is one class which is being given to represent or to do presentations by the students, to revise the chapters or to revise anything that have been being written or being done in the previous day. Because of that, it can be also it can be revised by the students also, and also many students who didn't understood in the past or in the yesterday lecture, they could have been understood today. In my opinion, as for the teachers, so they should make the students sit with each other, and they should understand them. Like they should make them understand if it is a student which is weak or a student which is great in the studies. So in my opinion, it is great, because if a student isn't being understood in these subjects, so they will lose interest. But if he can understand that kind of subject, the teacher is paying what we can say focus on that student. So because of that, he will get interested in that subject. As there is a quotation that there is a one person who don't understand anything, so he wouldn't be interested. And the person who is understanding everything, so he will be interested in that subject or in that field or in that area. So in my opinion, if we can make the students understandable about any topic and about any subject, so in my opinion, they will get interested, or they will be interested in that subject, and they will score high if the teacher wants from them or the parents.
Well done, Yusuf. Muhammad, many students are not interested in study. How can we bring them so they should be interested in study?
For students, there is a simple thing. Students, they need enjoyment in class. They want to talk, they want to express their points, but they are shy. They are not confident in front of teacher. But they are within themselves together. They are free. They can talk whatever they want. Teachers, they need to be friendly, but in a type that the students, they are still afraid. They can express their points, but they will not cross the limits. So I think that the best thing is not teaching from books. I mean, they are teaching them, but giving those points, giving them experience of their life, that how have they, what were their difficulties or things like that, in which the student is interested. So students' interest, it could be built by their own self. and by being friendly with them.
So thank you all for your participation, and it was an interesting podcast. I hope you all have also enjoyed it. Till then, stay tuned. Allah Hafiz.